Just say when.
Action.
G'day, look, we've got a little bit of calm before the storm here between bronze and silver class. So I thought I'd run you through a little bit of the terrain here at the Goldfields Hard Enduro up in Bathurst. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the type of rocks. I'm a gold level rider, and us gold level riders spend a vast majority of our life talking about tyres and tyre compounds and different tread patterns and things. So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into the thinking of one of the high level riders. I'm certainly not at the top, but I'm in the gold class, so I can talk about it at least. I'm just qualified. So look at this rock here. Come out and zoom on this one a little bit. These sorts of rocks, it's not granite, and they have flat surfaces on them. And you can tell the sort of rock it is by the fact that it's got lichen growing on it. So when this actually gets wet, this lichen gets really slimy. So the rocks are really slippery because they've got a flat surface on them, so your tyre can spin on the flat surface. Conversely, on these rocks, you can see like this one here, it's got quite a sharp edge. So if you can actually get to the point where your tyre grabs onto the edge of the rocks, you'll get good drive off that rock. Not as grippy as granite or anything like that, but if you can actually keep moving, even slowly, just at walking pace, you'll keep grabbing edges of the rocks. So even if you're doing 1 kilometre an hour, you'll keep going. But as soon as you stop, you'll hit one of these flat bits that are slippery, and you'll just sit there and spin, which we saw a lot of the bronze riders doing before. So tyre selection. A lot of these sorts of, what I saw in a lot of the bronze riders, they are running motocross tyres, and they're really not the right tyre for this type of terrain. For this type of terrain, what you want is a nice soft gummy, either a single stripe or a double stripe type, double green stripe type hard enduro tyre with a really soft mousse. So the mousse can actually spread out and make a really big footprint on that flat surface, and so you get the tacky rubber will actually grip on that rock. The motocross tyres, they don't spread as much, so you just get like the edge of the knob, and it just slips on the rock, and it doesn't actually grip. The other thing that the big wide tyres will do is that soft compound. When you do dig through all of these surface rocks onto the rocks which are underneath, and they're flat or they might even be curved, a lot of these, it'll spread out so far that when you actually pump the back of the bike, because it's all about actually pumping and spreading that tyre and dumping the clutch at the same time. So when you get one of those back end pumps, an enduro tyre being a 140, it'll really spread out wide and it will give you the maximum footprint. So in these particular conditions, you really want to be on a 140 Extreme enduro tyre. You want to be on a soft compound, and you want to be on a really soft mousse, So this is really a classic hard enduro setup is what you'd go for in this type of terrain. Whereas if you were looking at, if it was clay and it was muddy, then you'd be better off in a motocross tyre, because the harder compound rubber and the sharper edges on the knobs will actually bite into the clay and give you more drive. So this is not motocross tyre. If we come over here and have a look at this rock, I'll show you. There's a couple of rocks here. Actually, I'll go over to this one. This rock caught out almost all of the bronze riders that came up this way. And you can see here all the marks on it, right? It's just a flat, shiny surface. And everybody was stuck on this thing spinning their back wheel. And you saw a couple of guys come through. If they either ran through the crack in the rocks here, or if they had a nice soft Extreme enduro tyre on, they just hit this thing, and you could see the tyre just spread right out, grab this edge. There's a sharp edge there. It'd spread out, and boom, they'd just drive straight over it. So there's a little bit of insight into you for the types of rocks and terrain we have here at Bathurst, and a bit of tyre selection talk.